Man, family, man, it's it's a lot, man, because we don't ask for anything when we're born. It's just a lot of things that are put upon us that we just either God ordains us to take on, or we're just given this heart where it's just like we can't resist the responsibility. And it makes me really want to hone in on something you said, Archie, and open your mind, where you said she's not a child of mine, but I raised her. They still friends, but I'm the man that will raise her. And so I can only imagine you once again stepping up, fatherhood, to someone that's not like naturally yours, but just go and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my daughter Shy, she chose me. She adopted me first. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah, she made a great decision.
Great decision.
Yeah. So more than me stepping into something.
Okay.
You said ordained. And things that are ordained are not based on order.
Right.
So when something's not based on order, if it falls on you, then it's on you. And it's more so about the purpose within the time that it's happening, more so than it is about the time and the purpose that you want for things to happen at that moment. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want that. In fact, I remember telling my mom, nah, that's not my wife, Mom. She has a daughter. I don't want nothing to do with that. I didn't tell my mom that, oh yeah, she's also now engaged to the man who was my sister's fiance a year ago. So I could have really put that out there and say, hey, this disqualifies her. Because this man, who my wife now at the time was not my wife, my mom was saying, hey, that's your wife. I see it clear as day. Don't you? I'm like, nah. But I couldn't unsee it after she said it. And yeah, that child chose me, man.
That's some of the realest. That's some of the realest shit, bro. Like,
but you know what we doing in hip hop every day. Every time you sample a beat, you taking something that you did not father,
100%,
and you making it yours.
100%, bro.
It ain't 100%. No different. We look at people and we think that we can't sample off of that. You can sample off that man's mistakes.
That judgment thing, though. Yeah, no judgment.
I was actually in a situation where I was, you could say I fathered a child in a sense. DNA said he won't, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, for quite some time, we don't. I'm not as much of a presence in his life now. You know what I mean? As I was due to incarceration and time and different things that I done went through as one. Now, I mean, he just texted me the other day, like, so we don't have a regular. You know what I mean? But it's a process. I'm still just coming home, still just going through different things, but I've been in that situation. I know what it feels like to take care of a child and be a father to a child that you didn't, quote unquote, give life to. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I directly relate. I directly connect with that story. You know what I mean? It was a lot of, it's very humbling. It says a lot about you as a man. You know what I mean? Because you got men out here that don't even take care of the ones that they give life to.
Yeah.
You feel me? So for a man to set himself aside, and say that the well-being of this child, the mental health of this child, the physical health of this child, whatever, is more important than whatever I got going on right now, says a lot about you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's definitely dope. I don't want to leave, and before I get to that, it is it is a different level when, a child chooses you and you're not naturally responsible for the child, you know. It was something you said, D, in No Enemies, where you talked about, I know my miscarriages in the sky. And these are the ones that never have the opportunity to choose.
Right.
At all. Tell me a bit about these miscarriages, because it sounded like it was like more than one, and what's your thoughts about it? I mean, of course, now you have a son, so being a father, it to some extent had to be in your plans, like something that you desired. Just tell me a bit about the whole miscarriage process, journey, tell me about it. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm gonna just say that, you don't really understand it. Well, it's like anything else. You really, really don't understand it until you go through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because somebody can tell you anything about a miscarriage or whatever, but until you actually sit inside of that shit, then it's like, oh, okay. Because, like, basically, that was my first child. Like, the miscarriage, it was only one, but it was like that excitement of, oh, I'm about to have a kid, and you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, the baby passed through, so it wasn't even like a thing. I didn't even get like a long way along the journey, but still, to me, it's still a loss. It's still a definite, in a sense. So however you want to look at it, no judgment on however anybody look at it, but yeah, that was how my first process went. It was that, and it fucked me up because I was so excited to have my first child. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, nah, it ain't that. And then to come back, and then it'd be a thing where she get pregnant 2 months later again, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm going through this whole process again, which is something that I wanted though. I wanted it, but it was still like, there's a possibility of this shit can happen again. Like, and that was some of the worst pain I experienced in my life. Like, real shit. Like,
that's what make you appreciate your son more.
Exactly, bro. Exactly what you're saying. So it's like, in that sense, it was just like, man, whatever this is, I'm gonna dive all the way into it. I'm gonna do everything I gotta do for it in this process. Cause to be honest, like 100%, the first time it was like, I wanted it 100%, but it was like, I didn't understand the dynamics of everything that came with it. So I wasn't super like on top of everything. Like, I let her go to Las Vegas with her friend. She had a trip booked before she got pregnant, and I allowed her to go to Las Vegas. I could have said, we was debating on it, like, don't go to Vegas or go to Vegas, whatever. But I was like, shit, go ahead, go have fun. Cause I didn't understand the weight of, in that process of early on of when you having a child. That's one of the things that they say you shouldn't do. You shouldn't catch a flight. Like, that's one thing you shouldn't do. But I was like, we talked about it. She wanted to do it, but I was like, go ahead. So, and then for her to come back and it'd be a process of like, damn, the baby passed through, whatever. So that was some devastation that I dealt with. But like I said, it came back full circle for her
the blame game on yourself.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
That's wild.
That's
I'm just listening to your story, not to cut.
No. Talk to me, bro.
No,
that's 100% what it was, though.
I'm going through that process because I have yet to birth and father, children of my own. So when I see fathers with their children, or I heard, just to see the joy that come from you to speak about, and the pain that you that come from you speaking about losing.
The first.
Know what I mean? Yeah, because. I've been in situations where I was in a situation where a female had an abortion, you know what I mean? And I got this song called Timeless. I haven't been too long recording about the release on this project. And I speak about that. Like, I talk about how I wish I could turn back the hands of time and she didn't abort.
It's real.
My little man. Like, I gotta live with these thoughts. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of made me reflect on what you were saying when you was like, whatever it is to whoever, whatever. Like your losses and your wins and your losses, your triumphs and your defeats, that's yours. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody else's to judge or to weigh. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when you lost a piece of you. You know what I mean? So I definitely relate. You know what I mean? And I understand where you're coming from with that, man. And like you say, now you when you going through the loss, you looking at the situation like, what could I have done to prevent that?
Right.
If I just told her to stay at the crib,
Yeah.
was that what caused it? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole nother type of, man.
That's when it starts.
Yeah, that's a whole nother something else to deal with. But it all directly relates to your mental and how things affect you and how you deal with it and how you carry that. Somebody that really that don't hold value to fatherhood would probably not be affected by it.
Like, or wouldn't care.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna just say this: like, one thing I didn't understand until it happened to me was that a lot of people go through it. It's something that a lot of people do go through. And I looked at it and I started to see it more, and I'm like, damn, like, you know, until you actually get an experience or something, you can't necessarily say how it make, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really judge it or dictate what it is. So that was one thing I realized with that. I didn't know how I
went through it. And so you, after going through it, you found out that, yo, I wasn't by myself. And did you feel
I felt like, I was like, damn.
Was you the only one dealing with that situation at the time when you was dealing with it? Did you feel like,
at the time,
even though you know other people going through it, but did you feel alone in that little bottle, like in that little world?
Yes, sir. Because it's like I don't know, one of y'all had just said something and felt alone about like your pain or whatever, and that's how I felt about it at the time. But as I went along, I realized more and more like a lot of people went through that shit. And like you said, it's subjective though, because it's based off of what you want out of life. Some people will go through that situation and it's like, it don't really mean shit because I didn't want that anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's real.
That's peace
to me.
I wanted to hear what you was about to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this is where it starts. You know, fatherhood, at least the consciousness of it, for me started with the desire to prevent what I knew could happen to a living child. You know, I went through a lot of pain with my brothers and sisters and my family dealing with sexual abuse in our family. And so, you know, I could only imagine what would have happened if my father had been there to prevent it in his presence that others were afraid of, if that was there for our good to protect us from actually being victimized, whether it was mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, whatever. You know, so you want that presence to be there in order to ward off and to allow you to keep and hold on to your innocence. And in a sense,
that's crazy.
In a sense, I had it because I had to have it. I had to put on a guard. I had to put on a face mask in order to go through something in silence and not just recognizing that people go through this, but that a lot of people have gone through this silent. 100%. And now I have to open my mouth, and that's the most scariest thing because I'm about to break the silence on something, and now I'm about to stand up against this huge overshadowing dark power that other people have been quiet about, and that is the most difficult thing that you can do. And so to father and to help somebody through your presence, be there so that they can have the assurance that even with your absence, that I have a father, that if I go through this, even if I go through it, if I tell my daddy, he's gonna avenge me. You know, I ain't had that. Every fight that I fought, I didn't have my father to come and avenge me.
Right.
So, you know, that's where I connect with y'all brothers and what you're talking about, because you didn't have to give a damn. You didn't have to give a F about none of those things because, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all could have just protected ourselves, but we came to a moment in time where we said, you know, I'm going to care and I'm going to see what this is about. And, you know, and I don't know how crazy this is going to sound, but like with the same way that you might think about a miscarriage. I think about how many times I masturbated and my seed was not with the woman that I cared about.
That ain't crazy, bro. That's real, bro. That's real shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times I could have, I remember boys in middle school telling me, like, yo, you ain't did nothing with a girl unless you did da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, damn, like, how do you bust a nut? And I remember figuring it out, and I'm like, whoa, what's that? I'm like, and you learn how to bust, and you just like, yo, that joint feel crazy good. At that point in time, 11, 12 years old.
You could have been a good feeling. I
you know what I'm saying?
There's life in it. Like,
right, it's life in that. And I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't understand that.
The minute you discover pleasure, you have to understand the pain.
The pain that come with it. The responsibility
you know what I'm saying?
that come with it.
And when I think about that, man, I'm like, yo, I got this life-giving source on the inside of me. And I'm thinking on material things when I have something that I could do with this at an appointed time. But I don't even know how to control me. Not the lust, not the desire. I don't know how to control my nature. I don't even know the worth of what this is. And like, nobody told me that, man. Until it was, oh, I need to stop doing this. Whether it's working too much or working overtime so I could be home with this that I made. Because I don't know who this is. I know I named her or him, but I don't really know this child.
Let me tell you how next level this shit is. Like, so that song was off a project I just dropped like 2 weeks ago, called Sacred Peace. And the next song on that project, everything you talking about, is what you just like. The next song is about the shit that you just talked about, like wearing a mask and all of that shit. Like, I really dived into it on the next song. So that's how I know we supposed to be here right now. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Cause he telling my story on another level. Like, that shit, bro. This shit
that, my life and song.
And the same with you, bro. Everybody, like, everything
bro.
is lining up, bro. I know. I'm just saying it to say,
bro.
We supposed to be here right now.
Yeah.
Period. I know that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we here.
I know it.
That's why we here. That's why we vibing.
Yep.
Thank you, Dre.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dre Fulton, man.
For sure.
Yep.
Shout out to Dre Fulton, man, for creating this platform, this situation.
And all the other artists who we put on for, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a dope artist too.
True
you know what I'm saying? I saw a video he did for Shorty America.
Bringing these great minds together, man, for this moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everything that you do, man, all your contributions, sacrifices, man, they ain't going unnoticed.
I just really, thank y'all, for just being open, transparent, real. It takes a lot to be able to sit in front of all of these lights and these cameras and really just speak your truth. I know it's one thing to craft it into a song, a 16, because you can choose what you want to and what you don't want to include in a song.
True indeed.
But when you have to open up about it and you don't know where the conversation will go, you're vulnerable. And artists are some of the most vulnerable people on earth. And
I would say transparent. Transparent meaning that you can see through it, but vulnerable means you can touch it. And a lot of times you can't touch an artist until you are an artist or until you are a person who poses no threat to them opening up.
Okay, I can take that. We can use transparent. I've been using transparent.
I was gonna disagree with
transparent. I agree with it.
I was gonna disagree with transparent at first until I heard your piece. And the reason I said that because I know the same way that you can open up and be transparent and be that, you got a lot of these that front because they trying to fit into what society has shaped. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So instead of being themselves, they're ashamed of who they are.
Sure. So
they try to put on this image. And in that sense, you're not being transparent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm looking at or what I'm saying ain't even what I'm saying.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
it's an illusion.
Well, like attract like. And any person with some sense know that money is fake.
Mm.
So like attract like.
Mm.
Money is fake.
Mm.
A lot of people are fake for the fake.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and those who go in the studio and put their life out there for the world to see, and whether it's for, you know, it's really just therapeutic at the end of the day. You know, it's a release. It's like, hey,
I don't want to carry this.
Yeah, I don't want to carry this here. Let me give it to the mic. The mic, because like my girl say, she rather manage businesses other than people because businesses don't talk back. And we like to talk to a mic because a mic doesn't talk back.
It just listens.
It
listen
just takes
Just
in.
take in.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
And so mine's behind the mic.
That's a mean.
It's just for us to just put it out there.
Man, I know why I like rapping so much.
And for the mic, the camera, and everything, just to take it in. Now, whatever it becomes, whatever becomes of it, so be it. We've already lived through it.
Thanks. Fact.
We've already been through it, so you can't be judged twice for the same crime. You know, and if it ain't a crime, then cool. You know, but you can't be. We've already stood the test of time with judgment and everything. Like, the only thing left to do is share the story and hope that somebody else don't live through it, or don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
You know, the whole said it better. I go through
So
it, so
you
you don't
don't
have to
have
go through that. You know, and so this is what we do. This is what we did. This is what's done. And I really don't feel like there's anything else to say. I really appreciate you guys more than I can express. This has been a long time coming. It's one of the hardest things for us to do as a people is to come together, start something, and actually finish it. And we've done all of that. We've done all of that, regardless of the circumstances. We got COVID going on. We got, you know, everything going on. Like, and
you did it though.
We've done this, and that's it, man. I don't even want to ramble on and on about it, man. It's just I'm just proud of you guys for being the first to do this. And like my brother Archie said, you know, although it's called Minds Behind the Mic, this wasn't nothing more than a courageous conversation. That's all it was. This was just a courageous conversation. And so I thank you guys for having the courage.
Thank you, bro.
To sit here with all these lights once again, and all these cameras, and just be as real as you could be, man.
I want to say something too, man. I definitely appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But more than anything, bro, like, I want to thank you for caring enough. You understand what I'm saying? For caring enough to even had the drive to create this situation. You know, because that within itself says a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you had to have a desire to, you seen something and it's like, yo, I feel this way. I need to do something about this. Who can I talk to and what can we do to help this situation? You understand what I'm saying? And you did that. And within that alone, even if we came up with the idea, you see what I'm saying? Like, the idea and come together, but just within that alone, like, that was starting something and finishing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and here it is. It started in your mind. You started the thought in your mind. You finished it. You brought it to life. You know what I mean? First episode. You know what I mean? I thank you, man. Like, just for, like I say, for caring enough. And then giving me a platform, like I say, bro. Like, I've been rapping since I was 12. You know what I'm saying? And for a long time, I had a problem with speaking. You know what I mean? I'm so in my bottle for that fear, that courage. I didn't have that courage. You see what I'm saying? Because, like you say, you're vulnerable. You don't know where this conversation gonna go. You don't know what they gonna shoot out there. You don't ever want to look crazy in front of the camera. And it's, you know, like, what you have now done is you create an environment that provides that comfort to feel comfortable in your vulnerability. You feel what I'm saying? To be able to relax enough to express yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that says a lot, because as artists, we can put what we could put in 16, 24, whatever you choose to put together, 32. You could write 100 bars. You still could never say everything you want to say within the bars, because it's still restrictions within the bar. Yeah. Even within what you saying, you still gotta say it a certain way, so it take away from the thought. Right. You feel what I'm saying?
It reminds me of what I said some time ago, and I never had an opportunity to ever say this, but this was the line. But you just said it. I say it in metaphor to tell you what I metaphor. Never had a way to say how I metaphor till I had the metaphor. So it goes forward and it also comes backwards. Yeah. You know, I can artistically tell you this, but it's still an enigma that only I know the secret intricacies about. And so I'm giving this to you because I want to be transparent. I can only be vulnerable with a few, but I'm only intimate with one. The goal, the point of it all is to really be intimate, but I cannot be that for everyone. So this is that intimacy that we need as men, that takes the layers off, so that we can get the fathering that we didn't have when we was boys, because we still making a lot of noise about things that happened to us because of the absence of. But now in the presence of fathers, look at what we all are. We're balanced.
Build on it.
And you build on it.
Peace, bro.
Yeah.
That's it, man. You know, man's behind the mic, man.
Man's behind the mic, man.
Man's behind mics.
Man's behind the mic, yo. CMG Lotto, man.
Tomlin.
Word, man.
DeAndre Fulton. And, you know, until next time.
Yes, sir. Signing off.
Signing off, man.
Done.
Newsflash, blacks still killing blacks, nigga, newsflash. Cops still killing blacks, nigga, newsflash. The dollar down like these niggas on the news, man. Niggas quick to say what's up with nothing new, man. What's up?
Shit, same old. What's good with you?
Not much. Newsflash.